pleased to welcome back Dan Chimetta from Consolidated Credit to help us when it comes to finances, and today in education in something called zero-based budgeting. Okay, explain that one for us.
So when we're hopefully doing our budgets, because that's what we talk about an awful lot when we come here, we want to make sure that the bottom line on our budget reads zero. And what I mean by that is we want to factor in all the expenditures that we're doing, but we also want to factor in the savings that we're doing.
So it's not a good thing to have money left over when I've done my budget, I would assume.
Money left over is kind of indicative of extra money that I can spend.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that the money that you have left over is really going into savings. It's going to be a better way for you to set and kind of forget your savings. So if you can do it automatically, factor in the savings as part of an expenditure on your budget, you're going to be better off rather than spending it just crazy.
So when I write down all my things, you've got a handy little book for us. I write down everything that I spend money on. What's going to surprise people the most when they look at their budget?
I mean, it's the small things. The small things like the coffee, right? Dining out, those kinds of things. It's going to be shocking when people start to track these things. And really, we want to see people write it down. Because if you're not writing it down, you don't really know what you're spending on.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're spending on, you can't change that behavior. So we want you to try and write these things down, make some small adjustments along the way, and that's going to make a big difference in your budget.
And when I go through that budget, if I'm struggling, and there are a lot of people who are, if I'm struggling when it comes to my finances, when I go through that budget, I can allot for getting out of debt.
You should allot for getting out of debt. If you're in debt, then that should probably be one of the categories in your budget. We wouldn't want to see people spending more than 15% of their income on debt repayment. We'd like to see a lot less. Under 10 would be ideal.
Is what we should be going on.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go through some of those things that people forget to add into their budget when they're going through. You mentioned entertainment earlier. That one adds up in a hurry.
Especially on the weekends.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's the entertainment costs, I mean, going out, those kinds of things. The dining out is one of those factors. Other things like the small things that we spend on in life, whether it be, maybe you like the potato chips or you like the ice cream at night, those kinds of things. These things are really, really important because, again, if we don't know what we're spending on, how can we be expected to change that behavior, right?
And we don't have to cut out, thank goodness, the potato chips and the ice cream. We just have to understand how much money is going to that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, because then we can also make the determination of if it's worth it. Needs versus wants, right? So do we really need to pay down debt? Absolutely.
Right.
Do we want to pay down debt or do we want a bag of chips? Well, hopefully we're going to want to pay down the debt faster. Then we can afford more chips.
Yes, exactly. We'll get debt-free and then chips for everyone. Well, I really like that you put together with Consolidated Credit this little booklet that's small enough you can actually carry it around.
Yeah.
Because so many of us have tried to do budgets in the past, and when you sit down at the end of the day and go, what did I spend money on? I don't know.
Yeah, one of the other things we have is an iPhone app. So you can actually download this thing for free. It's called Budget Tool.
Cool.
You can download it for free off of iTunes or the iWebsites, and that is also you're able to carry it with you and record all of your expenses as well. And then you've got a live budget ready to go with you everywhere you go.
So I'm writing it down because once it's written down, it actually means something to me. I actually see it more, and I'm keeping it track as I go through the day so nothing gets missed. Do most people make budgets these days, or are most of us forgetting an important step?
I think a lot of people are failing to do budgets. We don't learn how to do these things in school very often. So with the push on financial literacy these days, I think more and more people are starting to partake in that. But I'd like to see more. Right? I'd like to see more people budgeting, reducing their debt, and obviously adding to their savings so that they can afford more things in the new year.
You can afford that coffee again once you're out of debt.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan. We'll put all the information we can on breakfasttelevision.ca. Time now, let's check in the weather conditions. Here's Jenna Kahn.